This week, I'm going to be dropping reviews for 3 exclusive PlayStation games that I finally got around to playing. First up is Order 1886, followed by Until Dawn, and then wrapping it up with Uncharted 4, the much requested review. But this one's going to be about the Order 1886, and I have to ask one simple question. Was it really that bad? What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And yeah, we're going to be talking about the Order 1886. I finished this the other night in one sitting, and I am ready to kind of give my thoughts on it. If it was really that bad, because I've heard a lot about this game. I remember when PlayStation fans were hyping this game up to the moon, hoping it was the next big franchise, while Xbox fans, well, some of them, were hoping it wouldn't do so well, so there wouldn't be that another bullet in the console war. And critics tore the game apart. A lot of them didn't like it. It sits at the 62 on Metacritic, and you know, when I saw that and when I started to play the game, I'm like, I wonder what type of experience I'm going to be in for, right? So let's get into it, right? I'm going to talk about some of the stuff I like and some of the stuff I didn't like. First up, there might be some spoilers in this game because it is 2 years old, and I'm just going to talk freely about my experience with it. So, the Order 1886 is set in alternate history. Yes, alternate history. I love when games do these things. Not that real history is boring, but I love developers that kind of go out of their way, change certain things, and have their own lore with their own game. So, when I first heard that it was set in alternate history, I'm like, this is pretty cool. So, it's set in alternate history, based in London, where an old order of knights keep the world safe from half-breed monsters. Yeah, you read that right. We have monsters in this game, right? We have werewolves, or Lycan as they're called, vampires, and a whole possibly bunch of others. But as the setup, like, that's pretty intriguing to me, right? Now, the current plot of this game is a pretty simple one. You are part of the Order of Her Royal Majesty's Knights, and you're investigating these suspicious deaths in Whitechapel and the conspiracy surrounding them. You play as Sir Galahad, who's the main character, and you're kind of flanked with your teammates, Sir Percival, who is your mentor, and Lady Igraine, who you kind of have a thing for, and Marquis de Lafayette. Sorry if I said his French name wrong, but it's kind of set in those teams, 4-player squad, 2-player squad that a lot of the cover-based shooters have done. And first off, the characters all look great, their outfits look great, and that's kind of the first thing you'll notice about this game as you play it. It is absolutely stunning. The graphics, the way the game is presented, truly looks absolutely incredible. The graphics, top-notch, right up there with some of the best games I've played, whether on Xbox or PlayStation. So right off the bat, looks really good, runs really well. Not a lot of performance issues, none that I can remember. And of course, each one of the characters, Galahad, Percival, Igraine, and Lafayette, they all have great voiceovers. Every character in this game, the voiceovers are really great, and they kind of set you into this universe. Like, I just put on my headphones, and I'm playing the game, and I was just immersed into the storytelling, the presentation that Ready at Dawn, the developers of this game, who went on to then make Deformers, which I consider to be quite a step down, they all do a great job, right? And I love, like I said, I love the alternate history stuff because this is the game that has Lycans and vampires and Jack the Ripper roaming around and stuff. So it kind of sets you off in that motion right away. But of course, it is a third-person cover-based shooter where the shooting itself is actually quite generic. There is kind of no tactical gameplay. You just get behind cover. You can use 2 weapons. You have your kind of sidearm on the left D-pad, and then your main weapon on the right D-pad, and you just aim for headshots. And it really lacks, like I said, it just kind of is a generic shooter, and it kind of lacks enemy variety as well. That's one of the things I noticed as I was playing through the game. You'll just kill your random enemies with headshots as you go, and sometimes they'll throw a shotgunner, a guy who's dressed up in this armor who charges at you with the shotgun, similar to the Uncharted series, or even similar to Gears when those boomers come at you. I think they're dumb in Uncharted 2, where these dudes that are fully dressed up in gear come walking at you to try to shoot you. It makes sense in Gears, but I always found that kind of lame and Uncharted, and it's equally lame as here. And the Lycans themselves, I was happy to see, oh, we're gonna have some werewolves in this stuff. But when you actually fight them, it's incredibly disappointing. They run at you from a straight ahead of you or from the side. They attack and they run away. And all you got to do is find where they're coming and just basically shoot them until they fall to the floor. You run up and you press Y to kill them. So those are some of the biggest disappointments in the game. Also along with the fact that the Order 1886, since it's a very linear, story-based, cinematic experience, it doesn't offer any replayability. Once you finish the game, honestly, there is no reason to replay it. However, I found that the film-like presentation, the atmosphere, the characters, the environments, the locations, the graphics, kind of elevated the game beyond the generic cover-based shooter that it is. And I got drawn in by the characters and the story to keep on playing it. I literally finished playing the game in one sitting. I wanted to know how everything was going to pan out. And yeah, it does pan out exactly as you think. Your mentor, Sir Percival, ends up dying, right? You kind of go on for a little revenge kick. Of course, you find out that the people you were fighting, the rebels that were kind of fighting against the government and the Order of Her Majesty's Royal Knights, were actually kind of the good guys, and you've been protecting the bad guys, which is the United East India Company, who all along, whose leader happens to be a vampire, and who happens to be Jack the Ripper. I mean, it plays out kind of what you would think, but I was still entertained as I was playing through the game. And I can kind of see why a lot of people maybe didn't enjoy this game, because this game launched at $60, and this kind of goes to the value of length and how much you play for something, right? Because I think I paid $5 for this game. I wasn't expecting much, and it greatly exceeded my expectations. I am a fan of these film-like games, the walking simulator genre. It seems like this developer really kind of focused more on the interactivity, the film-like presentation, the graphics, the seamlessly blending of gameplay right into cutscene, more so than the actual gameplay and shooting itself. Like, they focus more on the film-like qualities that the game has rather than the actual minute-to-minute gameplay, which there isn't a lot. You do a lot of walking and talking, where they kind of talk to you, right? There's a lot of that. There's a lot of just walking from point A to point B while the story is told to you, while you look at some pretty scenery. And I understand that type of game is not for everybody. So I understand when you're paying $60 for something and you get something like this, you might be disappointed and trash it harder. Like I said, I paid like $5 for it, and the game's it's like right up my alley. So I'm like, wow, this is way better than I thought. But of course, if I would have paid $60 for it, I'd probably be like, I don't know about this either. Now, I think a perfect price for this game would have been around $30, kind of like Hellblade. And that's almost what the game reminded me of, was Hellblade. I know a lot of people out there are expecting me to make like a Rise Son of Rome comparison, but that Rise never popped into my head, other than that was a Microsoft exclusive in the beginning, and this was a Sony exclusive in the beginning, where both didn't get sequels, and I would love sequels to both. This game ended on a cliffhanger, and I would love to see this world and everything in this game continue. I want to see the next chapter in Galahad's journey. I want to see how they can expand upon the alternate history. I want to see if they can actually add more gameplay elements to their game instead of just focusing on the linear QTE segments that the game offers. So to me, the Order 1886 bears a lot of resemblance to Hellblade. Both games really have little gameplay throughout their short experience, but really focus on atmosphere, presentation, environments, locations, the character of Senua versus the characters like Galahad and things like that. So that was the comparison my mind was drawn to. And Hellblade was praised because it was $30, right? And this game was kind of put down because it was $60. So I get it. $60 for a 6-hour experience. That's not. I mean, this game isn't truly like mind-blowing in a way like one of my favorite games from last year, Inside, was. So I understand when people bought this game, they trashed it. But I can only talk about my experience with it, and it is a game that I greatly enjoyed. I think it's better than the Metacritic. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I hope there's a sequel. And the reason I give it an 8 out of 10 because I think the design of the characters, the environments, the locations, the film-like presentation, the seamlessly moving cutscenes between gameplay and back to cutscene is really remarkable. And just how great the game looks with a decent story kind of elevates it above the generic cover-based shooting that features no replayability, no enemy variety, and like some of the enemies just have only one way of attacking. So I thought the game's strengths outweigh its weaknesses, and of course I did pay a small amount of money for it, and that is just kind of the facts. So 8 out of 10 for me from the Order 1886, although I had no expectations going into the game, and I didn't pay full price, so I completely understand it if someone paid full price and was disappointed by what they got. But for me, playing it in 2017, paying $5 for the game, I really enjoyed it. I beat it in one sitting, and I hope that Sony and Ready at Dawn come back together to make the Order 1887. I'll be on board day one, whether it's $60 or $30, to see what they can come up with. Anyways, guys, that is my review for the Order 1886. Make sure you like the video. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel, as we have the Until Dawn review and the Uncharted 4 review still to drop this week. Those should be pretty good. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button so you're always notified when I drop a new video. Thank you guys so much for checking out the review. It means a lot to me. And I will see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.